Good old economics. Yeah, I was this close to changing this. What I really would, what I think would be really fun is if we did a project management style class.
We should write our own text.
Right, right. We could use AI.
That's what I'm doing in the other class. That should be cool. Because you go in and everybody has a little bit different stuff.
Yeah.
And so you just come take notes as you're doing it.
Kind of learn together as you go. Yeah, I think there's some real value in that actually. But guess what happened?
What?
I went out of town, and so I decided not to change anything.
Come on.
Is that terrible? I mean, just the honest truth. I mean, that was a big factor. The other factor was a couple other factors, which were, implementation. How do you get the right textbook? How do you get all the assignments?
It's like you file run on us, and you don't penalize us for it.
But I couldn't. Honestly,
yeah.
Right?
Or just go.
I just couldn't. But here's the other thing. There's some really good things about this book that you're not going to get anywhere else. And so like a buffet style.
Yeah.
Well, I'll take some of that. I'll take some of chapter 4, chapter 2, chapter 6. I mean, you're not wrong, right? Don't tempt me. You guys are tempting me right now. I don't know how to take this. I don't know how to do this. You guys are like
an AI for
right? You guys should not be trying to tempt me right now because I might take you up.
Write down the section.
I bet there's 6 people in this room. I bet there's 6 people in this room that have already read through chapter 6 in the textbook.
Whoa. 6 people in this room? No. Give me the section you want. I'm gonna write the chapter section, and I will go through and manually pull it all. Put it in the chat and ask for a very in-depth PDF involved. You can read through it and decide if you liked it.
Oh, thanks. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I'm really kind of on the fence. I might need. It might take me an hour and a half just to let me just talk to you about all the factors involved, right? It's this one. Yes. Yeah, see, we got people ready to take the IRAT and TRAT. We can't change now. The ship has sailed. The ship has sailed. Well, here's the question, Trevor. Let me ask, maybe I'll throw this question to the whole class. Raise your hand. Wait, you guys don't even know. You've only read chapter 2. How are we supposed to evaluate this?
But you're already on the fence, which sways us to agree with you.
Hey, Spencer. Spencer, these guys got me on some kind of tangent this morning. Help me get out of it, okay? No. Hey, Spencer, don't listen to them. Listen to me. Spencer's a good, one of these students that you're grateful to have in your class. He cares about his teachers. Okay, no pressure, Spencer. But don't listen to them. Here's the thing. Before this class, and we haven't even taken an IRAT and TRAT yet. Gosh, you guys are jumpy. Is that the right word? Oh, that. Justin has some opinions. Has Justin told you his opinions about this class? Okay. Spencer, here's the situation. Zach and others. I don't want to put just Zach on this, but sorry. Everybody in the class. That's right. That's right. That's right. All supportive. There's been some concern about the textbook. This is the second day we're meeting in classes. Not the goal, but the textbook, right? Chapter 2. And I happened to mention, it's probably slipped out of my mouth. I probably did it. That was probably my mistake. I apologize. That I was this close to changing the textbook for this semester. Like this close. I mean, really, really fun. And then I went on vacation and decided not to change. That, there's some other no, there's some other factors. That was a big one though. Um, so I'm just curious, Spencer. What was your take on chapter 2? Is it worth it? You liked it. Tell me. Tell me the truth.
Well, I will say is I got a lot out of the PowerPoint. It was very, very helpful.
Very coy. Very coy.
I was just looking for making flashcards out of it.
See, so there's value there.
Out of the textbook or the PowerPoint?
Either one, both.
Well, so the way I studied for the IRS, I looked through all the questions that you posted. I first created a flashcard for questions, but I kind of skimmed through the chapter to really find these.
Nice. See, that's the way to do it. There's questions right here for these IRATs, the T-rats. That's the way to do it.
The question I think is going to wreck me. It's going to be the steps of the process flow analysis framework because I think get the flashcard wrong.
Okay. All right. That's not too bad. I think you might be able to pull that one out. Yeah, so there's I don't want to say a proposal on the floor, but there's kind of this concern on the floor that maybe if we switch this to a project management class this semester, it sounds like there would not be a lot of complaining in this class. Is that true?
I think we get a lot more out of it. Like, we're even if we have to learn on the fly and like reference the PowerPoint, we're like, oh, that actually makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. There, part of the class, a big part of this class is the project, right? We're going to be working with a business client for like how many? Like 9 Thursdays out of this semester. No, sorry. Yeah, 9 Thursdays, almost half the class, almost. And so there is some justification that says, hey, if we had some more structure around project management, we could do really well. We could really do a project management class. We could really manage a project with the client really, really well. And it's, should I just be honest? It's like boring. It's like documentation out the ears is what it really is, right? This one project management textbook that I found that I'd probably use is just documentation out the ears. Now there's good things and bad things about that, right? It's not as complex as this textbook that we're reading right now. There's no math. I mean, there's a little bit of math, but almost no math compared to this textbook. And but you'd come away with some pretty good project management skills. Wait, why are we having this conversation?
Because I said I don't like it.
Because Zach wants to upgrade or downgrade. Should we just call it downgrade?
Downgrade. I think there are a few people here. You said there's some really good stuff in textbook, right? I think there are a few people here that you said, you know what, this section, this chapter.
Zach, you are convincing me, Zach.
We could go and pull all of that information that you love so much and create a nice study sheet on PDF. And if you look at the text, all of those lines. Textbook.
All right. Any other thoughts? Please, Andrew.
Kind of a project manager who took this class.
Yeah, logistics is a different class, Andrew. Sorry, you're out. Just kidding. Wait, so you're saying you already have, because that was my other concern, is that I feel like some of you might already have project management skill sets, right? Might have already taken a class, right? And so some were like, yeah, that's not as valuable to me. That was one of my concerns. Will? Oh, the best of both. Worth considering. Oh, I like that. All right. Well, Andrew, what do you think about that? Makes me good. Okay. Any other thoughts? Then you're pretty much done. Any other thoughts?
I just really like reading the textbook.
Right? Thank you. Right? It's all new. It's fascinating, right? It really is fascinating. One of the benefits of this textbook is that it's cross-disciplinary, cross-industry. You know, you can apply this to cross-business models. You can do service models, manufacturing business models. Pretty applicable. Any other thoughts? Anybody else? Ash. Who was that, by the way? Oh, yeah. I'm not planning on a final in this class, actually. Is that terrible? Yeah, we could do one. Do you want to do one? I did one a couple of years ago. Maybe it was that class. And no, the client project is basically the final for this class. So that's kind of nice. Good. Any other thoughts? Oh, the presentation for the client. Yeah, that is a problem. Yeah, good. Yeah, I like that. Okay, yeah, I have some ideas on that actually. Okay, great. Okay, good. Any other thoughts? So what are the next steps? Oh, please, Jacob. Keep it all. Yeah, yeah, right. 8 o'clock. Whose idea was it to meet at 8 o'clock? Anyway, I don't know about that. 8 o'clock. And they changed it to 8.
Monday, Wednesday, these schedules are identical. They're just different.
Yeah.
I have no idea what that.
Well, let me do this. I will take this input. Zach, will you email me? Just a couple of bullets. This is what we talked about, Brother Chapman. Don't forget about us.
I guess I have to remind me.
Yeah.
Because I'm about to graduate and I'm pretty sure whatever I'm about to go into school,
Good point.
whether it's active solutions or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
Be valuable.
Yeah, I think kind of widen my mind.
That's great. I like that.
That's like project management like 2 years ago. I feel like
That'd be great. Maybe a mix of both would be very helpful. I kind of like that idea. I'll have to figure out how to do that logistically, but maybe there's a way to do that. I'll look at that. That's great. Okay, great. I appreciate that feedback. That's good. Okay, great. Let's do the IRAT and TRAT. You guys ready for this? Okay, so let me describe what we're going to do today here. Here's what I've got. By the way, a couple of announcements. Finance department kickoff Thursday, 11:30 in the Taylor. Some swag. This is always a fun event. Supply chain management program is one of the smaller programs in the department, but we make the most noise, which is kind of fun. So that's tradition to continue. We do make a lot of noise. Please.
So you're out of curiosity.
Yeah.
So why would supply chain be in the finance? I've always been a little curious.
Yeah, that's a great question. It kind of goes back to how the department was kind of split off from the business management department a long time ago, like almost 10 years ago now. Wow. It's not uncommon for other programs to have it because our supply chain management program is a little bit smaller. Putting it with the finance program made sense in terms of distribution of resources for our particular college, and it's done like that in some others. It's not the most common way to do it, but it's not uncommon. It is kind of weird, but it's not uncommon. A lot of companies will pair finance and supply chain together as well. Yeah, so there's a kickoff on Thursday. Also, guess what today is? Today is National Supply Chain Management Day, April 29th. So congratulations, way to go. So to celebrate this, we are going to have some ice cream social this evening at about 6 o'clock in the amphitheater outside the McKay. So come enjoy some ice cream to celebrate National Supply Chain Management Day, which is pretty cool. Here's what we've got for today. I want to talk a little bit about the goal, and then I want to take some IRAT and TRAT in Chapter 2 and preview the homework, and we'll go to there. That sound good? Next time, not next week, next class, which is Thursday, we're already going to be up to the goal, Chapter 12, which is crazy to me. That's the fastest I've read this book ever in this semester. 40 something? 41, 42? And there is homework for chapter 2 due before class. And then we're going to do the application exercises for chapter 2 in class. We're going to just be doing one. So you don't have to worry about the application exercises, but just the homework for chapter 2. And there's only one homework. And the goal, chapters 8 through 12. That's kind of where we're at. That's where we're going.
I think textbook probably has like good rundown.
Yeah, hopefully we're going to get to that here, this little homework preview. And this should be really close to what you're going to do for the homework, to be honest. Also, in fact, I'm glad you asked that question. Also, what I've got here from a homework perspective, for better or for worse, I am going to try to provide you with videos of the homework when you submit the homework. So for example, this is a little quiz in Canvas for this homework due on Thursday. And after you submit your file, so this is some examples, 3 questions, right? Come right out of the middle of the textbook. In fact, these examples are word for word from the textbook with different data, different numbers. Does that make sense? So I don't want to say it's too easy, but it's almost too easy. And the intent here is just to help you go through the textbook and to learn the steps that we go through to answer these questions, right? In addition to the fact that the process steps are already in the textbook, once you submit your file here, your Excel file, I show you links where I do video walkthroughs for these problems. So what I don't want students to do is to do the homework and not know if they're doing it right or wrong, right? So the intent of having pretty open, available answer key to the homework is to really become familiar with you going through those steps, right? What's the process of going through? And the intent there is that you could follow the steps, but to really learn it, to really become familiar with it, you need to understand how and when to do the steps. That's really what learning is. I would say that's probably the hardest part of this whole course is, yeah, you can go through these problems and you can do the problems, but it's really at the front end of these problems saying, given this information, what do I do to answer this question, right? How do I go from the words in this problem to the answer? And that's really where I think a lot of the value from this course comes from, is being able to intuit, right? Building up some intuition around looking at this problem and then being able to say, oh yeah, I can look at this from a process perspective and I can create some numbers and some calculations behind buffering or behind customers per hour, right? Flow time, average flow time. I can figure some of that out. And so part of these questions is geared towards working through that, right? Some repetition involved. And then part of this is geared towards coming to class and in class doing some more problems like this in class as teams, right? And that's the intent here. Intent is to throw us in front of the bus in terms of application, the bus of application. And that's kind of where we're going. And then to apply it to a company. Okay, great. So good questions. Thanks, Trevor. So let's see. I think that's what we're going to do. Why don't we start with a prayer? Let's see. We have team 1 over there, right? Team 2 right here. Team 3 right here. Spencer, which team are you on? I think I put you on a team. I can't remember which one it is. Team 3. Trevor, I forgot too. Should I check? Let me see. I think I put it in here. We've got 4 on team 2. You know what? I am actually going to put you on team 3. Is that okay? Supposed to sit with your team, Nate, even if you don't like them. Oh, okay. Just making sure. Just making sure there's no. Yeah, it's helpful to sit with your teams, especially for the TRAT, and then especially when we're working with the client. Yeah, Josh wasn't able to keep class. He was going to take it for another semester. So that's why I moved you here, so we could balance out the teams. Yeah. Yeah, tell him Chapman's going to change the textbook. It's fine. Just kidding. Yeah, that would be funny.
Yeah, he waited it for 2 hours. We can do it.
That's funny. Poor Josh. That's funny. Um, okay, great. Let's say a prayer. Team, let's go team one. Team one, who would like to offer a prayer for us? Any volunteer for our opening prayer today? And then we'll dive in. Wow, it's 8:20 already. Will, thanks. Appreciate it. Amen. Very cool. Very good. Okay, great. Okay, so last class we formed teams, set grade weights. That was pretty cool. I appreciate that. And the grade weights that I have, just to make sure I have these right, is we have 30% for individual performance, 40% for team performance, 30% for team contribution. These three add up to 100%. And then I'll calculate these small ones, right? This would be a total of 9% overall for the IRATs, 9% for the homework problems. What is that? 12% for the midterm exam, 16%, 4%, 20% for the team project, and then so the rest is basically peer evaluation at 4 times during the semester. So we talked about that last time, which is great. And now I'd like to spend a few minutes on the goal, chapters 1 through 7. There was a quiz due, I believe was due before class, right? I think everybody finished that a couple days ago. I feel like this class is on top of things really well. It's due on Thursday, yeah. I thought you guys were all very well prepared for that. But let's talk about the goal here. Let's start off with the goal, chapters 1 through 7. Any thoughts, overall thoughts? Zach had some early thoughts? Zach enjoyed it? Yeah, good point.
It's like a podcast. A lot more involved.
Okay, so is that the most enjoyment? Is that why you like it? It's because you have the audio part?
I enjoy it because honestly, I like that it follows this.
Yeah, kind of narrative, story form. Nice, love it. Any other thoughts? Overall thoughts? Anybody not like it? Anybody's like, Brother Chapman, can we please not read this book? The wife is weird. Ash. You know, it's funny you should say that because last semester they said she's annoying.
No.
Yeah. Wait. Okay, Zach, don't give it away. We haven't read that part yet. You've read ahead quite a few. Okay.
When was this book written?
This book was written early 80s, I think. Maybe mid 80s.
It feels like that.
What gives you the sense that it was written a long time ago? Oh, okay. Yeah. There was an 80s vibe. Hey, I was there in the 80s. It was good times. Don't worry. You guys missed out, actually. You guys missed out on a lot. You missed the 80s. Electric slide. Yeah, okay, great. Great thoughts. Yeah, very interesting, right? And one of the reasons I like the book is because it portrays one person, this Alex guy, in multiple dimensions at the same time, right? You see a little bit of his insight into his personal and family life that's going on. You see a little insight into his career, professional life. And I guess that's all he has going on right now. Those two things. Yeah, and hopefully we'll pull some lessons from that. The wife actually has a big impact in this overall story, so we'll see what happens with the wife. It's interesting that you say the wife is weird. There are classes that don't think the wife is weird, by the way. So I hate to, just beat up on the wife. We'll come back to the wife many times. Please, Will.
I just feel like at least there's a lack
Mm,
of what's really going on, and they're not expressing how they feel. Alex feels like he's about to lose his job.
yeah.
He's the worst, but he doesn't really express that to her, and she's definitely left out, stuff like that. But they kind of are, but not in the best.
Okay, great. But you're saying lack of communication both ways. Okay. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, for sure. He's not very open about why he's staying late or sorry, I totally forgot. Something came up at work. He's just not very specific, right? Um, it's funny, is that one of my first times reading this, I thought, I think I've been in that situation myself. And if you can understand Alex a little bit, the poor guy, poor guy. Can you believe this? I mean, he was hired like 6 months ago. None of this is his fault per se, right? I mean, it's not his fault. And yet, if he doesn't fix it, it's all going down the tubes. I've heard this. I've heard the story, and I don't know if it's completely true, but I've heard the story that the best managers that want to get promotions look for very quick successes, successes that they can bring it, bless you, that they can accomplish in about 6 months to a year, get promoted, and then leave, right? And then when somebody else gets hired, they have to clean up the mess. There's this story, multiple stories I've heard. One example is there's somebody that cut R&D spending in their organization to increase profits, right? Kind of a turnaround job. Hey, I know, let's cut R&D so we can increase profits. In the short run, looked great. The best profits the business unit ever had for years. The guy gets promoted. The next guy comes in. They have no new products. They're getting killed in the marketplace. Everybody is just, tight about spending. And all of a sudden he gets fired, right? I mean, the guy was from outside the organization. He didn't have, I mean, it was over. It was over before he started. And he felt like his career was basically shambles at this point, right? I mean, he was put in a very, very tough situation, things that he couldn't control. And I think one of the great points about Alex here is you get a sense very early on that he's in it. He's in it to win it. I mean, that's not the right way to say that, but he's here and he is in. He is not going to go to this headhunter. He's not going to pass his resume. He's not spending time that I think everybody else in the world, maybe even including me at that point, if I was in that situation, would be like, uh-oh, time to pull the escape button. I'm out because my career is going to tank. I think that's really incredible, actually. I think that's worth noting here that this is a guy, even amidst all of these pressures from home and from work, and he has a little bit of hometown feel, right? This is his hometown, so sure, he has some connection there. But even then, I just think that is something. There's something there. There's something to be said for being willing to really stick it out, even though he doesn't know how to do it. There's high risk, and his career is at stake, right? Has career implications. I like that part. I think that it comes off pretty. He doesn't really hesitate about that. I mean, he thinks about it, but he takes the risk and he says, "Let's turn this around." I think that's really quite good. What else? Any other observations you might have about Alex? Please, Spencer.
I think something to his wife's credit is
Yeah.
like the reason that, in addition to not having a needs set, it seems like he's making commitments for it.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
it's not
yeah.
just the fact that he's like not being a good communicator, but some of the things he is communicating are not being.
Yeah, and you get a sense for that really early in the book. This is multiple times, right? This isn't just, oh, I forgot. If somebody does something once and they forget it, if they commit once and they forget to do it, I think we're generally pretty okay with that. I think we all forget something once, right? But I think that's an astute observation where this is not just a one-time deal. This is starting to be, maybe not starting to be, this is a continuing pattern. And gosh, that's a whole new ballpark, right? It's one thing to say, okay, this has happened once. It's another thing to say, this thing just keeps happening, keeps happening. And I think that's one of the big factors that causes her to finally break, in a sense. I think she will break, and we'll see the ramifications of that. And that's an interesting one. I think that goes a little bit beyond just communication, right? I think that goes to something else, which is really fascinating on that. Please, Zach.
Um, I like.
Yeah, what's up with that? You like that? Most people don't like that. That's weird, Zach.
You like get to see the entire thought process.
Yeah.
How it takes a long time. I also think it's interesting because I don't necessarily love Alex either. And with his wife, he's not exactly.
Stands up with his wife, right?
Doing things that you're like, I don't know about that, you know, but sort of the character arc. But as of now, you gotta keep it
Middle of the day,
left, rest, watch.
leaves the meeting. Wait, is that in this chapter?
I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, really interesting. Yeah, interesting points about Alex, right? Yeah, yeah, it is interesting. He's taken some risks, right? And leaving the boss gets upset with him. The boss comes in. I think we find out later that Alex and Bill Peach, his boss, really did have a great relationship. Did they mention that first chapter? Right. Yeah. Yeah. And that makes yes. Yes. Yeah, you guys nailed it. You get a sense for the situation here at the opening of this book, which is his wife's mad at him, his boss is mad at him, his plant is going down the tubes. Um, I mean, by the way, it gets worse before it gets better. But what a scenario to start this book, right? Um, great. I think you guys nailed it. Let's see. Is there anything else that's worth covering here? They're late on orders, late on shipping, huge amount of inventory. They have 3 months to turn that thing around. And what's the guy's Lou, the accountant guy? What's Lou at the plant? It's Lou, right?
Yeah.
Lou's like the CFO of the plant, and Alex is like, yeah, like 2 years away from retirement or something. And Lou doesn't think they can turn the factory around in 3 months, right? So Lou, who knows the factory, is like, nah, I don't think it can happen. But he gets his team to commit too, which I think is also notable from a positive perspective from Alex. You know, Lou, and let's see, who are the major players? We have Lou as the accountant. We have Donovan, Bob Donovan, who's the production manager, and then we have who's the inventory person? Her name is maybe she comes up there later. Maybe she comes up chapter 8. Maybe that's right. Maybe he goes to him later. But he ends up convincing all of them to help him out and stay, which is pretty interesting as well from a manager perspective. That's a great sign. What does it mean to be productive as defined in the book? Something that helps you achieve the goal, right? And was there anybody in here that thought, oh, is this the right goal? Anybody feel like, I don't know about that goal? Anybody have pause about that goal? They laid it out pretty logically, right? I mean, you have all this other stuff: innovation, quality, employee people, right? The goal is to make money. Anybody have any moral concerns about that? You guys okay with this? You guys are all business students. Yeah. Ethical considerations.
They set it up nicely.
Sure. Can't just fire people when the robots come or innovations come. Okay. Okay. Okay, great. Okay, I will go with that. The goal of the company is to make money. I think that's really profound and we'll see this again coming up later, where we see, Bob Donovan's world is like the plant. And from a supply chain world, it's easy for us as supply chain managers or supply chain analysts to get so caught up in our own world of purchasing or logistics or managing the warehouse. We can miss the overall picture. We can miss, how does our job fit into making money and the overall picture. That's probably one of the biggest takeaways that I think is important for this book, for this class, is it's important for us to understand, how do we, in our little world, right, in our little job that we have after this class, in the supply chain or warehouse or management or inventory, how does this help the company make money? I think that's a huge, huge deal.
Well, I think it's a moral question.
Sure.
Make money, I don't think that's a moral call at all. It's the means that are the ones that are ultimately being questioned. Where, you have ethical business practices, treat your workers well, do what you have to have a stable work. I think it's ultimately not necessarily the end goal, but the means. Usually have multiple.
I like that a lot. Maybe that's similar to saying technology is not good or inherently good or evil because of its technology status or nature. It's how we use that technology for good or evil. I like that. I think that's a very good point, actually. Excellent. Anybody have any ideas about how to, maybe this is the last question, then we'll move on. Anybody have any ideas about what you would do in this situation? Not having read the rest of the book? Any ideas? Do you feel like if you were thrown into this situation that you'd be able to at least make a difference, make an impact? Or do you look at the situation and you think either, okay, this is never going to happen to me, or this isn't realistic, or I don't know what I'd do. I don't know. Any thoughts, Nate? Yeah.
Where he's late on orders, shipping, excess of inventory, obviously there's a bottleneck. So it's going to be tracking down the bottleneck.
Yeah, very good. Good. I think one of the great things this book does is it offers some language or some terms that we can all work around. Good. And that's a great foreshadowing for what's coming up. Okay, great. Yes, there was some question earlier. Was that before class, asking about, can we just do all the quizzes for this textbook, for this goal book up front as we read the book? And the answer is yes, but I haven't published them all yet, so I'll try to get that published. Yeah, that'd be great. I'll try to get those published. If you want to go ahead and take the quizzes as you're reading, because it's true, I have found in the past that most students will just keep reading chapters more than the ones assigned that we talk about in class. The benefit of kind of doing it a slow way, or at least talking about it in smaller chunks, is that we kind of get a little bit deeper in the book, which is kind of nice, and I think it's helpful to apply some of the concepts later on. It's very helpful. Okay, great. Any other comments on the book? So give me a rating 0 to 5 in terms of helpful or usefulness of the first 7 chapters of this book. 5 being, yeah, that was pretty useful. 0 being, okay, it's on there. Okay, great. Great. Maybe an average of 3, maybe an average of 4. Okay, 4.5. Great. Okay, great. Let's transition now to chapter 2. Let's go ahead and set up our LAM system. We'll go into chapter 2, rats, and do the IRAT and the TRAT. So there's a little bit of setup here. We're only going to have to do the setup once all semester, and that is just getting the password set up, right? So here's the steps. Go ahead and go to this bit.ly link, bit.ly/SCM LAMS. That's an L-A-M-S for this LAM system here. And then go ahead and click. Now, if you've done this before, is there anybody who's done this before? Will. Okay, you're in, so you don't have to do this. Just to check to see if you can still log in.
I can still log in.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, exactly. Okay, great. So yeah, click on this link and then click on forgot your password, which I know you didn't really forget it. That's fine. But we're just going to have you reset it, right? So go to this bit.ly link, click on forgot your password, and then it'll show you this menu. Click on by email. And this is where it gets a little bit specific. Type in the email that has the numbers, the 3 letters and the numbers. your BYUI email. So don't do the one that you made, but do the one that you were assigned. 3 letters and then 6 numbers. Type that in and click OK. And then you should receive an email address or an email to that email address with a link to reset your password. And sometimes it takes a minute or two. But go ahead and then reset your password and then log in. And that's where we're doing here, just for a few seconds to set this up. How's it coming, Jacob? Got it. Kathleen? Waiting and waiting. Hurry up and wait. It's the story of my life. Are you going to come to the opening ice cream social? 6 o'clock?
Oh, I work
Oh,
from
you
5
work.
to 8 on the PSC.
In the where?
PSC, video.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I chat an email and call.
Oh, really? For what department is that?
Person.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
wow. All right. Maybe we should bring you some ice cream.
Yeah, that would be good.
Ash, we should bring her some ice cream. What? You're not going either? Are you doing TA in 361? What if nobody shows up? And it's like 6:30.
So I have.
She'll probably come up. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Tell her, send her to go get you some ice cream. And then if you want me to TA for you, go get me some ice cream and then I'll TA for you.
Yeah. Well, like if you're gonna make a head,
Right? Tell me what to do. Right? Amen to that. Yeah. That's great. Okay, sorry, I got distracted. We're doing good. Nate, how's it coming? Okay, that's good. Sounds like you're in. Yeah. We have some others waiting for emails too. Okay, no worries. Spencer is in.
Still waiting.
Oh, still waiting. Oh, dang. Is it in your spam?
Oh, I checked.
You know, it's interesting to me that like 80% of students use the Outlook on the web browser, but not the
Yep.
not the app. Is it? Why is that? Is that because you guys didn't grow up in the 80s?
Well, could be.
It could be, right? Thank you. It could be. Okay, how are we doing up here? Callan is in.
All good.
Great. There it is. We got it. Andrew's in. Are you on the right team?
Yes.
Okay, great. Even better. Ash. Oh, I got to change Trevor. Trevor, I got to change you, buddy. I got to change you. I have to change. No, there's nothing wrong with you as a person. No, that's not the right. Who said that? Well, I mean, I guess we all need to change as a person, right? We all have things that we can do to improve. No, but Trevor, I was talking about the teams because I put you over here on this team. And so I need to change you on other teams. So you are now on team 3. There we go. Now we got it. We got it. Perfect. Okay, how are we doing so far? Everybody in? Not yet? Still working on it? Anybody not received the email yet? Brennan, buddy, you are the only one. Just kidding. It's not you. It's not you, I promise. It's not you. It's not you.
What else did we talk about? We talked about for project management operations, consensus to follow another assignment, just pairing, textbook, publish the role. Anything else?
No, I think that's it. Yeah, I like the balancing of them. If something else comes out. Yeah, I mean the list is growing by like we're not even halfway through class. You can do the tour if you want, but let's ignore it for now. If you want to come back and do it later, that's fine. But yeah, you should see at the top, you should see chapter 2, and you can click on that, and that should take you into it. And we're ready to go. Will's an old hat on this. What's that?
Then we hit gate.
We have a gate, and I'll open the gate here in just a minute. And again, the way this works is you will take an individual test first. I think there's 12 questions today, a little bit longer. Usually there's 10. Yeah, yeah. And what you can do in this is you can do some point spreading. So it's multiple choice. You have A, B, C, D, or E. And if you think the answer is A, haven't they done research and it's like go with your first instinct. Don't second guess yourself. Isn't it true? Okay, yeah. So if you read the question, you're like, oh, it's got to be A. There's a little drop down on the A option, and it gives you 0 through 5, 5 through 0. And so if you think the answer is A, you're going to select 5. You want all 5 points to be on A. So in other words, there's 5 points per question. Does that make sense? But if you're like, oh, I don't know, it could be A or B, you can say, okay, I'm going to put 3 points for A, but just in case, I'll put 2 points for B. If you have no idea, you can go 1 for A, 1 for B, 1 for C, 1 for D, 1 for E, and you get at least 1 point correct. Sound good? Brandon, are we in? It's not you. It's not you, Brandon. It's not you. Let's see. The other thing I was going to mention is, and this is actually, I'm glad we were doing this because I forgot to mention this the other day. Where'd it go? Right here. There was a line in the syllabus that last semester somebody read this and they were like, Brother Chapman, are we going to do this semester? But I haven't heard it mentioned in this class yet. So I guess that means that you guys don't want to do it this semester. We think we should do this. Let's see what Zach says. But here's the idea. So if the team, oh, I got to get rid of this one. If the team scores 100% on the T-RAT, right? So we're talking about the T-RAT, which is not the IRAT, but the T-RAT, and that's before appeals, because I'll talk about appeals in just a second. If the team gets 100% and as an individual you score above 40% or above on the T-RAT, sorry, on the IRAT, right? So what I'm saying is if the team gets 100% and individually you score above 40% on the IRAT, then I'm going to change all of the individuals on that team, they got the 100%. I'm going to change their above 40% score to 100% score on the IRAT. And the intent here is to try to help each other learn when we take that T-RAT. So if you remember how T-RATs go, I think I talked about this last class. As a T-RAT, well, there it is, the ring of truth. Brandon is in. The way the T-RAT works is you can't go to the next question until you get that question correct, right? So if Brother Chapman says, oh, I think the answer is A for this question, and everybody thinks, well, Brother Chapman's a smart guy, so let's try A. That's their justification, right? Teams do this, right? Brother Chapman's a smart guy, let's do A. They don't really talk about it. They don't really say, well, why is A there? No, they're like, Brother Chapman knows it's right, so let's choose A, right? And what happens is you'll select A, and if the team gets it incorrect, guess what happens to Brother Chapman? How dare you, Brother Chapman? You just crushed my expectations of you. You go way down in my book, right? All of a sudden, the person that thinks they know may not be the one that knows the right answer, right? So that's probably one of the biggest reasons why I use this LAM system is it gives the teams immediate feedback, right? So oftentimes, and it's probably not in this class, but oftentimes the loudest voice is the one who decides for the team what they're the right answer. And in this way, we can kind of prevent the loudest voice. We can say, okay, who really knows the answer? Why is that the right answer? Let's talk about that, and then let's choose that correct answer. And there's a learning process embedded in that. And so the purpose of this line in the syllabus or this point, this idea here is to promote team discussion, right? So if the team really does end up getting 100% of the T-RAT, then that means that if you're ready, and the reason why it's got to be 40% above, because I found that some students, maybe they have a bad night, maybe they're just not ready, and they come to class and they just tank the IRAT. And I feel like that's not really fair for students to take advantage of their team like that, right? If Brother Chapman comes in a score with 0% on his IRAT and gets 100% because the team got the TRAT right, I'm like, I'm not fine with that. I could go 50%. You guys want to go 50% on the IRAT or higher? 60? You guys are, I can tell you guys are really 70% on the IRAT. I like this. See, I like this class. You guys are really good. You guys. All right, we'll keep it at 40 for now, but if you guys want to increase that, as time goes on, we can talk. Yeah, great question. So, right, exactly right. Correct. That's exactly right. You said it much better than I was going to say it. Thank you. Yeah, so IRAT and TRAT is closed book, closed note. Application exercises is open everything. So next class, when we do our application exercises, we'll use everything we can. Use everything. Yeah, this is mostly just to help prepare to learn, right? So this is like a readiness assurance test. The IRAT stands for Readiness Assurance Test, individual and team. And just a measure to help us become prepared, right, for class, for this unit, really. Okay, Brennan's in. I think we're ready to go. Please, Jacob. Yeah, you'll be able to see, and that's a good question. You'll be able to see here in a minute when I open this up. You'll be able to see how many people in your group chose A and how many chose B and how many chose C. You won't necessarily say, right, it's not going to tell you what's right or wrong, but you won't necessarily, it won't necessarily say your answer, what you chose specifically, but if a group of 4 people, it'll say, okay, 3 people chose A, 1 person chose B. And then that kind of facilitates the discussion. That's helpful.
That means then that we don't actually see our overall score the higher we can.
Correct. That's right. Okay, great. I think we're ready to go. So I'm going to open the gate here for the IRAT. And okay, the IRAT is now open. So yeah, Andrew, I appreciate Andrew's question here. Close book, close note. Okay, great. So the gate should be open now. And you should be able to go into the IRAT. Looks like we've got almost everybody there. Kathleen, are you in? Okay, great. There it is. It just didn't update. Okay, great. So I'll give you a few minutes for the IRAT. Sure, yeah, feel free to use calculator. Yeah, also, if you want to do a blank Excel, I'm okay with that too. If you want to just pop it into Excel, either way. Calculators, yeah, use your phone on calculator, that's fine. Blank Excel is good too, yeah. Thanks, Trevor. Yeah. Yeah, perfect. You might just have to wait until everybody else is done.
Well, so the progress is 38.
Oh,
And then
let's see.
and then it shows all my answers. All the things.
Perfect. And then at the bottom was,
And then it says next.
okay, yeah. So I think if you, I think you might have to wait right there.
Okay.
If you click on that, what happens?
Okay, next.
There's a gate. Yeah, you can wait right there. Yeah, perfect. Yeah. Yeah, I know.
If you want to check.
Yeah, yeah. Are you sure? Okay, we've got about more than half the class is finished. So if you want to spend another minute or two and finish up, and then we'll start the T-Wrap. Let's see. Is that what you? Started, completed. Yeah, looks like you're getting. Then it says next activity in the bottom. On the very bottom of the page, I think it should say next. Yeah, there you go. And then
I did that and then.
you came back here. Oh yeah, that's what Trevor saw too. Click it one more time. It should give you an option for team leader. Yeah, there you go. That's it. So once we start the T-Rat, you can answer that. Who else is TAing the 361 class? Do you know who else is TAing 361?
Think,
Oh, is it Jared from my class?
no. Well, if he had you.
Okay, that's right. Great, very cool. Okay, great. Fun. That's great. And you guys starting this week?
Yep.
Is it in this room? 445? Four. Right here. I think so. 478? 478. 445. Okay, cool. Okay, we all done? Okay, here's what I'll do then. Almost done. Almost there. Almost there. One final. Brandon's almost there. Brandon, go. Brandon, go. Go, Brandon, go. Well, there's a couple others. Almost done. Almost done. Okay, now you should see a button that says next activity. So if you click on the next activity button, sometimes you have to click on it twice. It should give you a leader selection option. And at this point, we're gonna turn on the T-Rat, and we'll do this together as teams. Okay. Ready, set. Wait a minute. Let me undo the gate. Okay, let me open the gate on the T-Rat. Okay, ready, set, go. The T-Rat is now open. So now you select the leader. Who's going to be the leader? Who's the leader?
This one. Yeah,
Are you guys on Teams, by the way?
on Teams?
Microsoft Teams?
Yeah, we got your message earlier.
I think Jamie is online.
Oh, okay.
In fact, do you guys have 4 answers? Yeah, so you have 4 answers for your questions.
Yeah,
So
we do.
Jamie, if you want to text her on Teams, that might be a good way. If you have questions or something, she might be able to respond on Teams, just to let you know. Yeah, that's it. Great.
I slipped it in because I thought it was just way too
Yeah, I know, A is A.
A is that B.
No.
Then they're all part of it. The other ones that I was confident on, I just said A. Okay, so.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. Which one of the following? Food wasn't really brought into the equation.
It's about,
The food would be more important, right?
so our flow unit was, the customer, right? It's, it was kind of like how,
How would you define the cashier?
so.
Yeah, resource is the one that's doing the activity, right? So resource is the one that's doing an activity.
Well, we don't really talk
Food's not really in it.
that was.
It would be a resource.
It would be a piece of inventory.
Um,
Doesn't have it. It's not an action.
you could do food as a flow unit if you were looking at how would you tracking how much food are you checking out in a particular, you're not checking out customers, you're checking out food, but that's a different way to measure it.
Right, but when you measure it, like you're attaching the customer and the food together at the resource.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, very good. Yeah, good question. How's it going, team? Did you get the nice? Go team.
So which are the only best structures?
I think I did have.
You lost which answer you chose. after you
Oh.
tried.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
For everything? Oh, weird. Let me check the other teams. Yeah, that's true for everybody for some reason. I'm not sure why that is. Sorry about that.
I was like,
Big A.
yeah, but I picked 8, but I don't remember. What did you think? I mean,
I see, I thought it was.
Yeah, I remember talking about that whole time, like really focusing on T. Oh, thank you.
Oh, that's helpful.
Yeah. I think it really focused on the time. I'm not sure between B and D. Like,
I feel like, so I think I read D is about like, it fluctuates based off how much you have one time. It keeps going with time. So I think towards D.
Well, it's all about the synergy, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
it makes sense, but define best definition.
Yeah,
Oh,
I know. The total number of flow units within process boundaries at time. That makes sense to me, because it's gonna kind of
Because
go
they
up and
track
down.
bottlenecks.
Yeah,
Is it not show?
okay, let's go with D.
Go with D. Oh, it's not?
Yeah,
Is
that
it
is not.
Which one is it?
Oh, so
additional average time to order the customer.
that's gonna be like
Would
flow.
it be like, I think I have the A.
It's either gonna be B or E.
Yeah.
Let's try B. There we go.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that makes sense. That makes sense.
I think we know which one this is. For the next one.
Yeah, I do remember.
I
Yeah, it's,
vote
I think it's 1200 for sure. And then this one is also C.
Little small, yeah,
You guys
Yep.
get that
yeah,
one.
I know that.
Because if you use this equation for the last question,
Yeah,
it only works if you use.
I thought it was really interesting. Like, I remember thinking like the average, I thought that was like kind of like a catch because I don't really feel like the problems are really besides the polarized items.
But I didn't remember.
Doesn't match up with the definition.
So then I had D for 3, 4, and 5 because I know 3 and 5 are correct, and I don't think 1 and 2 are correct.
So
Go ahead.
so I picked D as 80, or actually I don't remember what I did. I think I was the 80% on
The
D.
80-20 split.
Yeah, and the reason for that was because I'm pretty confident in 3
Yeah, me
being
too.
correct.
Wait, 3 being correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
That's the only one I'm confident on. And then 5 makes sense because it's producing.
Mhm.
But
And then 4 really makes sense too. The flow time is how fast you can move a product through. So you're going to increase customer satisfaction if you can deliver products faster.
correct. And then under that logic, that means 2 doesn't work.
Right. Because it's the opposite. And then 1 really doesn't work because if you decrease average throughput, then you're decreasing how many products you're actually making that will make it to market.
right.
So under
then
that
I-
logic,
Then A, B, and C are out, but it's definitely not D. So I went D.
yeah. See, and
I'm good with
Let's
the
try D. Boom.
utilization. I was kind of, I know what utilization is, but
Yeah.
I didn't know which.
So utilization is,
Yeah.
to me is, yeah, how
Yeah, it's how
effectively
effective-
you're using
yeah.
your resource. I didn't like any of them.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
So I went
I
E.
like-
For none of the above. E.
oh,
She went
For none of
E.
the above.
I went C because I was assuming it was the effectiveness of like moving up the flow in the process.
I think I
but
put
I'm
someone
not
C too.
like
So utilization is, if we go back to the shopping example.
Yeah.
We've got our 2 cashiers. If there's 2 lines that are set up and 1 line is longer than the other, and then the 1 cashier has nobody in front of them, then their utilization, because they're not being utilized for their time. Does that make sense? So you want to have someone working on something all the time. That's what utilization is. So if you have a resource, no, because that just says resources of the process. So that would be the resource. Resource is the resource of
but
the
it says
process.
measured fields.
Oh, so that
That's
would
where it
be,
got me caught up, because I
D,
did
so it
what you
should be
did,
D then.
and I was
Based
D
on what you
because,
no, that makes a lot of sense. Now that you're saying.
because it does deal with this process.
Yeah.
It's where to put that.
Yeah, that actually makes sense. I think we should do D. Nice. I don't know if did any of us answer D? Funny. So inventory turn, this one, does anyone have any thoughts on this?
So inventory turn, oh shoot.
Turnover,
Right.
like how quick it
How quick it gets.
it's cycling through, right?
So would that be flow time then?
I think I put flow time.
Okay, I don't know.
I can't remember my reasoning,
I
but
think I split this one pretty good. We can go with C.
let's do C. Oh,
Ooh,
good.
Let's go.
That's good.
And then this one was 18 points.
Yes.
Right?
18.6.
Is that what you got?
Yeah.
Okay, I know.
So I was gonna do 0.05, and I was like 18.6 seems like a really big number.
Yeah.
So I
It's all
split
good.
it.
I just remember
No, if you use the equations up here.
Yeah.
So we got 8 right?
Yeah.
So inventory equals flow time times throughput.
93 divided by 5,
So
or
it'd be-
500 by 93.
It would be 95, 3 divided by 5, which is 18.6.
Okay, then I vote 18.6.
Boom.
Perfect.
And we're gonna have like 90-something percent. We got a 4 on it, so we're gonna be at That was good, guys.
Not too bad for a first round.
At least I know what to look for now.
Oh, right, that one. Yeah, lost our inventory curve.
Yeah, dude, I did.
Do the slide.
I did so much worse on my individual one.
I did. I didn't do much of the reading. I have
Did
to
it
go
show you
back.
the individual one too?
Yeah, it should show you
Oh,
your
gosh, I'm
score
kinda
and then
scared
the
to look.
average score.
Same here.
Oh my gosh.
Good job, Jamie. Thank you for your help. We did pretty good. Hey. Okay, I think that's all she wrote. Is there anything else we need to do with the fish or like in that little thing? Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We're jumping.
I was just gonna describe the appeals process.
Oh,
There's a
okay.
way to do a burning question.
Oh,
Did
okay.
you guys see that option?
I did. What is that? How does that work?
Basically, it gives you the opportunity to. And I'll describe that in a second, but you can still do it in email.
Okay. Can you still see the responses?
Yeah, I can go back here. Probably.
Oh, wait. I can see it here.
Oh, you can see it.
Do you get extra points if you're the leader?
I don't think so.
I
What did
think
you
it's
guys
just
get
who's,
on the
it's
team?
literally just who selects the answer.
Yeah, it's just so we're not all getting upset at each other.
How dare you?
I know. Do you guys want to appeal question 6? I don't really have a preference. I think we did
I
pretty
would
good. We could. I don't know enough about it. That's why I'm like,
Okay,
so if you have some reason,
it was the inventory.
I just have to send it to you. It was the inventory curve, yeah, question 6.
I don't feel like I know what that
On the T-Rat, 90% on the T-Rat. I like where Brennan's going. We were 1 question off. We got it. We were 1 point off, actually. 59. Which is pretty darn, I mean, if you round up, like most people.
Like most people. But peer pressure is super fucking
I could have thought of that.
The hard thing is like,
We're focused on output, right? Oh, right.
Yeah.
I was not aware there was
How far are they?
this. Yeah.
No.
Come on, take out the knees.
Oh. Well, it's not.
Just have- Well.
I was making Ian, but now I know that the view was not correct, so. Yeah, it was.
Wait, the average score is for the class or for the team? Oh.
What?
What average percentage are you seeing for the IRAC?
I'm not seeing a percentage, I'm seeing a score.
Do the math, by 60.
Divide by 60.
For the IRAT? You got a percentage?
No, I just did that.
Oh, we're at 38.8.
I think there's.
That's everybody? Oh, okay.
The other one. Well, yeah, it would be last, next one.
That makes sense.
Would be bureaucratic.
Well, the T-Rat has an average as well.
That would be good. It's gonna be one of these guys got that.
What? Did you guys get 100?
You guys just missed one?
Ah.
It was so close.
Gosh, was it 6?
No, 10.
Oh,
Okay, you guys all done? Okay.
Ted was the one I think we worked out.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that was the one.
Uphill.
Talked ourselves into. That one took a lot of thinking.
Whoa.
Receptacle,
It's kind of funny. Nobody chose.
What's that?
It's kind of funny because nobody chose it.
So it cut out on 2 more questions. And you weren't able to do the group. It was,
There's like 3.
yeah, 10, 11, and 12. So I don't know how that works. But
Yeah, I think, well, no.
No question.
I submitted the inventory closures to sign it. I think it was the, I was just on the one, I submitted it.
Yeah, it's a 3 day process.
Well, maybe we did collect 3 variables.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, for little. I think we're. Yeah, I still like to make those. I think so. Late policy. No way we're off.
Brennan.
Yeah, I probably have a way too lax. Way. I should probably wait. 1 week maximum.
No.
Good.
Yeah.
Full disclosure, any student takes 5 times as fast as the average.
Strike one record. Can we change the,
Problem with that is it makes your plan of the week that much more. Okay, team 1, how'd we do?
No.
Team 1, what happened?
We'll take the. So how about this, the highest scoring team?
we'll take that.
No, I can't change that.
Oh, really?
No, thank you. Okay, great. Here is the results. Yeah, that's a good point. This is a good learning curve. Now we know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so here's kind of the scores percentage wise. Not bad, actually. Not bad. In fact, if we compare you, students don't like to compare themselves, but I will look at the comparison from last semester. Last semester, the average was 97.7 overall. This semester, 96.7. It went down. We only have teams 1 and 2. I gotta fix that. Yeah, so let's talk about that. And that's really the purpose of this. Is what I like to do is I don't like to focus on the content that we're familiar with or that we know. One of the benefits of having an IRAT and TRAT is now I can focus our class time on the questions that we have as a class, right? Where in class are we unsure or are we not clear about? Before we get into the questions, I want to describe a little bit more detail about the appeals process. So I recognize, and this has happened, many times, frankly, that there are questions that are just not very good questions, to be honest. Or I might have changed a question, and in the hopes of making the question better, I've made the question worse. I mean, that's happened too, right? So there is what's called an appeals process, and this is only applicable for the TRAT. So you can't do an appeals on the IRAT. No, it doesn't change that one. It doesn't change it has to be pre-appeal score. So it has to be a pre-appeal score to get the 100%. Right. So you're talking about if one of these teams, let's see, where'd it go? if one of the teams would have gotten 100% here, let's say team 2 was 1 point away from getting 100%, then all of the individuals that got 40% above on the IRAT, I would change your IRAT score to 100%. So you were 1 point away from 100% on the IRAT and TRAT. That's how that works. But the question is, if we appeal this question and the appeal's approved, does that count for this increase in the IRAT? No, it doesn't. That's something else. But yeah, so in terms of the appeal process, there's some more detail in the syllabus. The short version of this is appeal. And there's a burning question option. When you're the driver for your team, when you're answering the questions, there's a burning question option. You can put your appeal right into the tool. But if you forget, you can just send me an email. And basically what this text says is, give me some clarification, right? Maybe you can appeal a question based on maybe there's some ambiguity in the question. Maybe you can offer alternative wording that would avoid some confusion. What's the reason? And provide specific resources or examples, right? If you appeal a question and you write, Brother Chapman, this question was not worded well, I will probably not approve that appeal. But if you say this term was confusing because it talked about this in the book, and then on another page it talked about this in the book, and you're citing, actual words from the book, then I'm like, actually, that makes a lot of sense. I'm going to approve this appeal, right? I'm probably more generous than I should be on appeals, but I think the intent here is for learning. And if you're willing to put in a little bit of effort, then I'm willing to look at that. So what I usually do is I offer, because of time, we're basically out of time. I usually offer a minute or two for teams to make an appeal, and just, that's when you can pull open the book. That's when you can, by the way, if somebody has an experience outside of class and you're like, in my job, we did this, and so that's what confused me, I consider that a very valid submission as well, right? Personal experiences, I think, trump the book, is in my case. So that's what we would do if we had time. We do an appeals process, and then after the appeals process, you submit your appeals. I look at those after class and approve those after class. But then we'd go through these questions one by one, right? We go through question 6, question 10, and question 11, and we talk about it, discuss, right? So because we're out of time today, I'll let you go for now. Next class, why don't we pick this up and just review these 3 questions, and then we'll jump into chapter 2, application exercises. Sound good? Awesome. Okay, Zach has our email for today. Took some good notes. Great. There we go. And we'll talk on Thursday. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. Good work.